Srinivas Arka shares with us in this talk his wisdom on dealing with the mind, which can put us through much stress and pressure. Negative qualities emerge from the mind because of expectation, anxiety, stress, and endless questions. He explains here that we must invite our minds to our hearts to experience peace and oneness within. The heart is the symbol of love and our deeper, pure, innocent self. We can invite our minds to our hearts by combining our thoughts with our emotions. Arka presents to us that we do this through dhyana, intuitive meditation, combining our touch, breath, and by singing the mystical sound Sa Ru Go Vam during dhyana allows us to bring our conscious awareness to the heart region, bringing to us the gift of peace and oneness and the experience of our inner universe.
Many people, not knowing the true nature of mind, they continue to undergo stress and pressure. There is a way how to deal with the mind. We cannot have a direct, raw, or critical approach to our minds. If we do so, again we are infuriating the fire of our minds. That is where heart steps in. Heart is not simply an organ. Heart is very closely associated with our spirit than our heads. Even the moment you touch your heart region with your awareness, with your consciousness, with your deeper feelings, with sincerity, something happens. Isn't it a fact? You can always experiment at your own convenience, at your own time. You do not need techniques. Just touching your heart with your own hands, just heart region. On the surface, you feel your presence more. That moment, you are reminded of your purity and innocence that you had when you just entered the material plane, when you were just born. We had abundant inspiration in our hearts and no information in our head. Hence we expressed unconsciously so much of our purity, innocence, and grace. During that state of evolution on the planet Earth, we attracted so many around us. We possessed enormous healing abilities. As we grew, our consciousness became more and more manifested in our cerebral cortex that resulted in our awareness. And we sharpened our awareness with the natural faculty of thinking, questions and answers. That was the time we began our questions. Who am I? What is the name of my parents? And what's my name? And we started comparing ourselves with others. Why am I different than others? That means I'm an individual. I'm not the same. Then we acquired knowledge and experience, and we developed our own ego out of our own accumulation of impressions, experiences, emotionality. Then we reached a kind of personality, individual personality, unique personality. That is ego, that represents our conscious awareness in the head region. That is mind. It is not entirely different than consciousness that we have deeper in our hearts, deeper in our being. That is thinly connected as neck is so small when compared to the size of our head, and again the body shows expansion from the shoulders. It's like a bridge connecting between the head and the heart region and the whole body. Similarly, mind is connected somewhat to the throat region, that mind awareness. Only way to calm our minds is to invite the mind into our heart region. We cannot simply do it again, adding some more thinking. We cannot do that. So we have to use alternate method, a gentle method, a graceful and artistic method, that is inviting, not with our thinking alone. And we have to say that as well sometimes. When you express the same thought, you create a different kind of energy around you. If you think, it's also kind of energy manifestation, but it stays there within you still in a very subtle manner. You may think of a flower. That is not enough. You have to pronounce that as well. Before that, you have to re-establish that thought. Yes, it is a flower, and your imagination. And then you have to express it in whatever the manner you could, verbally. If no one is around you, you do not have to worry about it. You can express that. That's called sometimes in the Eastern culture, mantra, or hymns in the West, or prayers. And you say, you may think something positive about a person, wishing them good, wishing them to be healed or recovered. But we have to say that. I extend my heartfelt good wishes for you and my thoughts for you. I want you to recover soon. I want you to wake up from this suffering. When you say, that energy is much more powerful than your thoughts as well, because now you are expressing, and you can add more to it with your gestures. With your gestures, you can add something more when you speak with your deeper feelings from your heart, adding to that with your emotion. Then it becomes completely whole expressed wish. So that becomes more communicable. Then the person also can understand the other person. Yes, I got it. You expressed it. I received it. And your thought is understood. Even otherwise, thought communication can work, but you have to deepen your thought in order to communicate. The thought cannot simply be communicated only as thoughts. Thoughts have to be converted or reprocessed into emotional currents of your emotion or vibration of your spirit with meaning, and then that can travel. Thinking is only for ourselves, private, personal. In your own chamber of cerebral cortex, you can think. It is neural activity with consciousness. But we are given that ability. We can invite that into our heart region. Recently, a scientist met me. He was asking me, no, there is no heart. It all happens in the head. Nothing happens here in the heart. I told him, that means blood circulates only in the head, nowhere in the body. He said, no, it circulates everywhere. There you go. Blood also circulates beneath your throat, in your heart, everywhere. If it doesn't circulate, then you don't feel the presence of that part or organ in the body. So as blood circulates throughout the body, your consciousness is also carried throughout. Similarly, you can experience your presence everywhere in the body. We are given that free will and gift to experience our consciousness however we want. So we have to take a graceful, gentle, alternate approach whenever you want to calm your mind and experience peace or serenity or oneness within. We have to create thought with emotion. That is meditation. That is dhyana. And you invite, "Oh my mind, please listen to me." You are not ordering, "Listen to me." You have to listen. You are not commanding, you are requesting. That is the reason why you always add "please" with your communication. If you want, you can order someone, let us see whether they listen to you. Nobody. They may, for the time being, if they have some expectation from you, otherwise they wouldn't. At least if you express your kindness or gentleness or the thought combining with your emotion, then your communication will not reach only their head, but it reaches their heart, then their deeper spirit, then they do it from their depth, not just surface activity. It's a true communication, real communication with long-lasting effect. That is the reason we use polite words and courtesy, "please." That means maybe I am speaking from my mind, but I am also becoming aware of my connection with the heart. That means I mean it. I am genuinely interested in expressing this wish. Why do you have to become connected with your heart? In the sense, heart is a symbol of purity. Heart is a symbol of love, symbol of innocence. So when you become connected with your own heart, at the time of communication, it means, yes, you are trustworthy, you are truly genuine, you have no ill intention, and your communication is to be trusted. Then as the other person who is around you or who is in front of you also has the similar structure, physical structure, similar consciousness, more or less, the similar vibration of the spirit, life force, could also sense it, understand it. And that person also will descend to heart level to communicate with you, whatever the degree. You cannot always become fully hearty person in your mundane communication. When you go out there, things may be different. Why is it different? Because people are communicating with their minds. If they start communicating with their hearts, things will not be different, isn't it? So if you want to experiment, when you go to different sections of society, different sections of culture, sometimes maybe people with different levels of consciousness. Some artists, for example, artists are painting at that time, how they speak, you can try. Somebody is playing a music, you can talk to them how they speak. Somebody is singing, how they speak when you speak to them. They can't get angry immediately. Somebody is meditating, cannot get angry immediately when you speak to them because they are already connected with their heart. So that communication is so pure and so clear. So we have the option whether to keep ourselves connected when we are communicating with the outside world or not. Then you may say that, well, I may be connected with my heart when I want to express something, but the other person may not be in a position to really grasp or comprehend. Then we get opposite results. How to deal with that? Again, the pressure will go higher. The stress level will increase. You may say that, no, it happens only in the beginning. If you can exercise some more patience, within moments, the other person will also realize, because that person gets connected with his or her own heart, then the level of consciousness will become really expanded, means increased with the depth and with the magnitude, with the change of energies. In the sense, energies will become harmonious around that person as well. Then again, the communication will become so happy and understanding, you will be surprised. Then the other person may say, sorry, I mistook you, I misunderstood you. I know you are different now. How do you know? In moments. No, I felt it. You felt it. See, the other person is not saying now, I thought. No, I felt it that you are a good person. Maybe you have good intention about this act or in this communication. And now I can really help you. What can I do for you now? Things change. So that is the magic of your own heart communication. Yes. It is not always possible, I agree. Not easy, because we also have the mundane world. Our mind represents the material world, our heart represents the spiritual world. So we have to have a balance. If we were to be totally mundane, no spirituality, absolutely, if that was the case, then we would have had only mind, no heart at all. Even in the physical sense, we would not have had our physical heart. Physical heart is not necessary. A creation has no limitation. Creation can create anything. Infinite possibilities, isn't it? You go under the sea, you see multitude of colorful creatures you cannot imagine. Some are almost semi-transparent, almost semi-invisible, jellyfish or many other varieties. So this kind of heartless creation could have been possible by nature, but it didn't do on Earth planet. Somewhere it may be different. At least you have to have the best of material communication as well as spiritual communication. Physical body with invisible spirit, so that we don't miss anything. And in between, heart is placed. Why? Again, the question is, whatever you want to do, I create a connection between the mind and your inner conscious spirit, so the heart will be somewhat easy to communicate by yourself. You cannot go deeper and to become enlightened all the time. It may be very, very challenging. At least you can start with this. Just get connected with your heart, then you can get deeper into your spirit to become enlightened. That's your personal wish, personal choice, and however you want to attempt, that is fine. At least let there be heart. That is interesting. Have you ever heard an expression, I hate you from my heart? They don't say. I love you from my heart, they say. Do they say, I love you from my mind? Love you from my heart. So, all the negative qualities normally emerge from the mind because of expectation, anxiety, stress, not finding answers to your questions, not quenching the curiosity of your mind. That's the reason we have to cool off our mind from time to time, sprinkle some cold water. Even while I was coming in the car, I brought the window down. I was experiencing cool wind. Not I was hot in my head, but just I wanted to experience a little more coolness. Yes, because I will be here and I want to be here totally. I want to be one with you, and let me have energy from nature. And I was absorbing. So the point is now, calming our minds means experiencing our heart level consciousness. Whenever it's not possible to achieve that, you can even use your hands for a moment as a gesture, to feel your presence there. Then it comes down. Mother, when child cries, what mother does normally? Does she simply caress the head? She also puts her hand on the chest of a baby and say, yes. In order to say, don't worry, what do? You also say, don't worry. You don't say, don't worry, raising your hands. You just say, don't worry. That means where the gesture is, unconsciously, the gesture is close to your heart, isn't it? And when somebody asks you, who are you? Are you really here? You don't touch your head and say, yes, I am here. You say, yes, I am the person. Are you sure? You don't say, yes, I am the person. You just unconsciously, automatically, with the laws of nature, your hands go there. Yes, I am the person. Whether you are in front of an immigration officer or customs officer or police officer or any other professional, you still become spiritual for a moment. You say, I am the person. Why can't you touch your shoulders, I am the person? Why can't you touch your waist and say, I am the one? You touched. That means there must be some kind of meaning, isn't it? That meaning is deeply within us, not entirely here. Here we do have information. And of course in our head we have information. That is the reason we find it hard to sleep, hard to rest. Day by day that information is increasing. The accumulation of information is increasing, even every moment, isn't it a fact? But how to deal with that? Only with our inspiration. Only with grace you can deal with that information, you can handle that. You can handle information, heavy information, with your emotion, with your heart you can handle. not aggressively, you can sustain that information for long. So, memory is not always in the head, memory is also in our muscles, in our body, everywhere. You have to access that memory. It will just come into manifestation like appearing on a monitor, isn't it? So that's what it is. So, again, getting to the depths. You cannot always practice and do it, but you can always keep in touch with your inner self. Keep in touch. That's the reason we shake people's hands. Hello, how are you? And if you have any special material or gift given by your friends, you don't just leave it there and say it's there. Once in a while you go and just you want to touch and feel it. Yes, this is what given by my friend, given by my family members. And you want to reconfirm it, isn't it? And you can experiment. Don't touch your face and simply leave it for a few days. You see how you feel. If you don't touch, you don't revive the experience of touch. You don't revive your presence in that region, your consciousness, your energies, your magnetism, and you have to touch it. That is one of the reasons, and we have got hands. We could have survived without our hands. Maybe again, nature, universe has no limitation, could have created without hands. Isn't it? There are so many animals, they don't have hands. They use mouth in place of hands. We could have been like this. But we are given hands. That means we can really express ourselves. We can give. We can assure. We can transmit our energies of healing. Everybody has that within themselves. So it's there to protect. It is there to express your meanings artistically and gracefully and spiritually. Yes. So that is tuning to keeping in touch with the touchless spirit. Keeping in touch. How do you keep in touch with the touchless spirit? I explained in the last audience. By being or by becoming consciously aware of our inhalation and exhalation for a few moments, then you would know, yes, I am keeping in touch with the spirit. In the sense, you can see some changes in your body and in your being when you emerge back. You see so much energy, some change happening in you. Your face changes as though you have refreshed yourself, isn't it? That means, where do you get that energy and spirit and inspiration? Somewhere from deep within. That's the magical part of it. So that's what it is. So calming our minds means combining our thoughts with our emotions and bringing the conscious awareness predominantly manifested in the cerebral cortex to down the heart region. Then the tone of voice becomes deep. Your vibrations become more meaningful and profound, and then communication becomes more effective and clear. That happens regardless of you being spiritual or not, but it would be much more effective and productive when you become consciously aware of your inner universe, of your inner spirituality. Sometimes you use sound to become connected, because you cannot simply become one with your heart all of a sudden, because so much is going on. So you need a bridge. You need some kind of sound expressed by yourself with your own tone of voice, with your own energy, and that really brings the conscious awareness in the heart region and brings you a sense of peace and solace and oneness. At the time, no questions, only answers. So I wrote in my quotation book, our mind is a question, heart is an answer, our spirit is an experience. So we have these combinations. So we cannot totally reject anything here. Everything is to be combined in unity. Then that becomes wholeness of life. Then when we become realized of our wholeness, then we become holy. That's the reason the holy word might have emerged. Holy means you have experienced and realized of your wholeness, everything in totality, whatever you have. When we experience that, that means we become qualified for higher experiences in nature. So once more we say the sound. Sa.